Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey, my 1 million pound besties. 1 million pounds because I assume once I added all of y'all up, that's probably somewhere around the amount you'd weigh. I don't know. I studied math in college, but that doesn't make me smart. That doesn't mean I can add now. I've been doing YouTube for too long. But anyways, hi, hello. We're back again today to watch another episode of the 1,000 Pound Best Friends, TLC's second most critically acclaimed show about very stellar, fabulous women, starring Ashley, Tina, Megan, and Vanessa. And woo, what a week we had this week, besties. You know, I feel like I've been waiting all season long for there to be this much meat, this much juice, this much content from the 1,000 Pound Besties, and we're here. We made it. We finally made it. All the manufactured scenarios, scenes, etc., they have led to this. It is week two at the Fit Farm. I think that's what it's called. Week 2 at the Fit Farm. Last week we got introduced to the Fit Farm. They had just barely been there. They were doing this little pre-assessment thing. And all they had to do, well, I don't want to say all they had to do. I'm sure it's very difficult for them to do. Let me not minimize the challenge of it. But they had to walk to a bridge. And I think they said it was like a half-mile walk. And that's where we left off. And Ashley was like, y'all, I can't finish this walk. I'm not going to do it. You can't make me.
Keep walking, bitches.
Oh, okay.
I'll be okay. Okay, I tried.
So she does in fact quit the walk and walks back. I think it looked like, just like me guessing, she made it halfway, just based on what I could see from the show. I don't actually know how far she really made it. And the other 3 girlies kept going and completed the walk, and in general had some concerns of like, is Ashley going to be able to do this weekend? Like, how dare she sign us up for this when she can't even do it herself? And I do have to say, just logistically, I'm confused about it because, like, it seems like Ashley still had to walk a whole bunch anyways. Like, she seemed like she was so close to the finish and yet still had to walk back to where they started. And the other girlies walked just about as far, right, to the bridge, and then still had to walk back as well. So I think Ashley probably could have done it, but it is what it is. She didn't finish the whole situation type of deal. And after all of that walking, Vanessa needs just a little something.
I do want something to rub on my body tonight, though.
It ain't me, Vanessa.
But in general, they all shared stories about how they are generally happy with their process, how far they've come since they've all started their various weight loss journeys. Well, except Ashley, because she didn't finish, but you know what I'm saying. So then we start day 2 of the Fit Farm, okay? And this trainer lady comes in and starts shouting and hollering at them.
Ladies, rise and shine, sunshine. Let's go.
The is that?
And I do appreciate that Ashley just full on keeps her eyes closed through the whole thing. She's like, I'm not gonna let you all bother me in this situation. Like, this is not what I signed up for. The yelling is not motivating. Tina also talks about how all of the yelling and microphone and bullhorning is also not motivating. And I would honestly just tend to agree with that. Like, you wanna, first of all, I'm not a morning person whatsoever. Second of all, I hate a loud noise. So you come and wake me up in the morning and start hooping and hollering? I don't think so, bestie. I will keep my ass planted where it's at. But also though, it's kind of a little bit hard for me to believe that these girlies didn't know something was coming, because it's not like they filmed them 24/7, right? Like, they're not in the Big Brother house. They're not being filmed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, you know, they had to be aware that there were cameras in the room where they were sleeping, that something was probably gonna be happening soon. Megan woke up hurting. You see like a melted ice pack on her shoulder. And Vanessa's response to Megan hurting for some reason was just like very funny to me and not serious whatsoever.
I got up this morning hurting.
Oh, goodness. Oh, well, yeah, baby, they beat our asses and we're finna go do it again. Let's go see.
But regardless, even though Megan is like hurting and Vanessa's not really feeling up for it, they both commit to doing whatever this very first workout is. But Ashley isn't budging, and Tina's like, what the fuck, girl? You brought us here? Like, I'm gonna need you to get your ass up. And Vanessa also comes in and also confirms, like, girl, you planned this? So, like, I'm gonna need you to do something about it. The thing I appreciate in general about this show is that they all four do really seem to support each other, even when one of them is being difficult. It seems like that would be a great system of support to have in your life if you're going through something like this. So I do appreciate that they didn't give up on Ashley or tried not to give up on her. But like at some point they did have to give up because Megan was really literally getting ready to be like, I messed up my neck and I'm still doing it. And Ashley cut her off and clapped back real fucking quick.
So y'all just need to...
I messed up my neck.
I love y'all. I don't give a about your neck, Megan. Get the out.
And then after that, Ashley pushed them all out. She said, get the fuck out of my room. And honestly, I was really not anticipating Ashley causing any kind of ruckus on the show whatsoever because, you know, of all the people, I feel like she and Tina are probably the most level-headed of the group. I think Tina feels very level-headed because she is a mom and, you know, she doesn't have the luxury of just, like, going off and popping off because she has to think about her family and things like that. And Ashley's just really always seemed very chill and like she's had it together. So I was very surprised to see Ashley do all that. So anyways, Megan, Tina, and Vanessa all go to the first class, which is a spinning class. And while I was watching, I was like, wow, Megan is really putting in the work. And she looks like she's really enjoying this and doing a great job. And then she had a confessional where she proved me otherwise.
I've always wanted to do a spin class, but now that I'm doing it, this kind of sucks. I mean, my hoo-ha hurts, my legs are hurting, my boobs are flopping in places they don't belong.
And Ashley actually does end up coming in partway through the workout. She basically took some time to reflect on the conversation that she had with Dr. Connie a few episodes where she talked about how she doesn't push herself through her fears and things like that and how she needed to do that. And this was it. She needed to push herself through the discomfort, if you will. She needed to sit with her discomfort, if you will. And Vanessa's energy and the way she's cycling throughout this whole segment is just like so funny to me and also, you know, encouraging to me. Like she's really getting it for real, for real.
Go, go, go.
Vanessa,
We're done.
you're gonna die.
Nice, Vanessa, nice. Push, push, push.
But overall, during this segment, I was not anticipating how much every single one of the girlies was going to be talking about their crotch region while biking.
Slow it down, keep that wheel turning.
It hurts my cooter. Sorry.
You know what a cooter is? Okay.
I think that everybody has their own thing. Like you're a walker, I'm a rider. But to see y'all push, and Megan, even though it was hurting her chi-chi and it was hurting her legs, she pushed. Even though your coochie was getting beat, and not in a good way.
And I guess it makes sense, honestly. Like, I could understand why that would be a topic of conversation. It just wasn't something I had considered. After that, the girls go to breakfast and they're having tofu tacos for breakfast. And then Megan eats a garnish.
That's tofu.
Oh, wow.
I never ate this before.
You ain't supposed to, that's a garnish.
I told you not to eat that.
What's a garnish?
After that, this is where the real drama gets started and kicks up. I mean, I guess the Ashley stuff was like a little bit of an opening act for the drama. Like, she got it started for the day. But the next part is where it really comes up because they're going to go and do a team builder leadership course type of situation type of deal where they have to cross some beams using wooden planks as a group, as a team. It really reminds me of back in the day when I was an RA in college, and every year for RA training, we would go to this little YMCA camp in Potosi, Missouri. I think that's where it was. Shout out to anybody who might be watching from Potosi, Missouri. But we would do stuff like that with like our RA staffs. Like I would have to navigate a course like that with my coworkers. It was supposed to build teamwork and leadership and stuff. So this really took me back to that time in my life, for real. I have to say, though, I don't really understand how this is a part of their particular wellness retreat when the retreats seem to be very much about, working out, eating healthy, getting in touch with, like, their mental health and processing their feelings and things like that. I'm not sure how this really had anything to do with all of that. Maybe the reason they wanted to do this so badly on this show is because they knew it would incite a decades-long fear of Vanessa's.
I was pushed off a balance beam in 4th grade, so this is a fear thing with me. I was in the hospital for almost a year. I had a cast from my toe to my hip. Balance beams is a big fear of mine.
Or maybe just in general, they realized that it would incite some level of drama, which it does, spoiler alert, amongst the girlies. I do have to say it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because they don't even do teamwork and team building amongst the 4 girls. They split them up into 2 different groups with a bunch of rando strangers that are also at the Fit Farm. I'm not sure if there was a reason for that because it feels like there could have been even more drama if all 4 of them were together. But what you need to know about Ashley and Tina, who are in their own group, they pretty much have nothing to contribute to this drama. So I won't have a lot to say about their experience over on the other side. But the drama does ensue from Megan and Vanessa. Both of them have some level of concern. Vanessa because of her childhood fears of balance beams, and Megan because she's not quite sure she can cross the beams on her own, and she also has a splinter.
I've got a splinter.
Y'all, she got a splinter. We got to quit.
And honestly, I thought the splinter thing was just gonna stay there as a joke. It just was gonna be a little joke about them wanting to get out of doing this activity. But no, it matters, so hold on to it. So Vanessa makes it across, she conquers her fears. It's very sweet. She reflects on it in confessionals, yada, yada, yada. Good for her. Proud of you, Vanessa. Way to go. But Megan takes a little bit of time to get across on her own. I mean, when I say on her own, they do have like the Chris G.I. Jane lady is helping her across, like holding her hand as she crosses the wooden plank. But she's stressing out the whole time, and Vanessa is just like hooping and hollering at her the whole time, the whole way she crosses.
You're doing it! Oh my God.
Just don't talk. I'm trying to focus on Chris, the instructor, but all I hear is Vanessa in the background. Yeah.
And once she does finally make it across to where the rest of her group is, Vanessa starts like grabbing onto her so Vanessa doesn't fall. And that just like irritates the shit out of Megan because it makes Megan think she's gonna fall.
She's gonna knock me off. She's gonna knock me. Okay, there you.
I'm not touching you.
I'm trying not to fall.
But you're grabbing on me and you're going to pull me with you. Please don't.
I'm trying not to fall.
Yeah, but you're going to take me down too. Can
Okay,
someone not get behind her?
And after Vanessa makes it all the way across, she's still like antagonizing Megan, which is just irritating Megan more and more and more.
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
Bitch, you almost killed me with you.
I did. I tried to
I'm
take you
not okay
down.
with that.
Oh my God. She's loud. She's obnoxious. She has to be the center of attention.
And Megan finally does make it all the way through the course, and Vanessa's still, like, on the other side. According to Megan, she's trying to be the center of attention. She's trying to be loud. She's trying to make everything about her. And Megan is still over here worried about this goddamn splinter in her finger.
Megan! Oh, we gotta get the splinter out. Good Lord. Megan's over here crying about some damn splinters in her finger. Just instead of realizing we accomplished something.
Ow.
It hurts so bad.
Please shut the right now.
And so Vanessa starts antagonizing Megan about the splinter, which just sets Megan off because she's like, I just need a second to breathe, to think, to act, to feel. And I got Vanessa just yelling at me.
I'm asking you to leave me alone. I'm having
What
a
did
moment.
I do? What did I do,
Shut
Megan?
the up for
What
once.
did I do? Nothing. You need to get out your head. We accomplished something.
Get out of my face.
We accomplished something.
And the girls are fighting. Like, I think in Vanessa's mind, she's really being helpful because she keeps saying, like, look at what you've accomplished. Look at what you've accomplished. Megan, you've accomplished. And it's just like, that is not what Megan needs right now. Throughout this whole time, Megan is like, you know, trying to set some boundaries. She's saying, like, please don't touch me when they're on the balance beam course. After she's off, she's just like, please stop talking. Please stop talking. I need a second. Please stop. And Vanessa's just like, ah! And I do have to say, you probably aren't supposed to be focused on what the people around Megan and Vanessa are doing, but there's one point where they're yelling at each other and all of the people around are like grinning, and to me it looks like they're trying to not let out a laugh at the situation. And also during this whole thing, Tina and Ashley's group is just chilling. You can see them in the background, like they're not even fazed that all of this is happening. And Megan gets in one good last like shove it up your ass before she walks off and storms off.
She don't get mad at me. Take it out on me, baby. I don't care. I will
Shove
be
it
that
up your
way.
ass.
I know. All Megan cares about's Megan.
No, that's you, bitch.
No.
That's all you, bitch.
No, it's not.
And this is the best this show has been all season long. And it's not that I love to see people, women, etc. fight. I would rather not. But like when you've given me nothing all season long, you've given me no conflict, nothing to be focused on, nothing to be invested in. Like you show me Megan and Vanessa fighting, I'm here. I'm hooked, besties. And I don't know how everybody else is going to interpret things. You know, they presented it like it could be either of their faults. Like, I can't remember who it was, if it was Tina or Ashley, but one of them mentioned, like, you know, when they get into fights like this, it's usually a little bit of both of their faults. And that's probably true to some extent. But in this particular situation, I think I gotta side with Megan here, and that Vanessa was mostly to blame. Or at least initially, because Megan really was trying to, you know, let her know what she needed in those situations. And Vanessa was not respectful of those boundaries at all. And yes, Megan did escalate the situation by adding to the yelling, but Megan had set clear boundaries for Vanessa in that whole situation. And Vanessa got the benefit of going through the course before Megan, so she had the opportunity to get her stress and anxiety out of the way first. And I think that, you know, she benefited from that because then she was like, oh, that wasn't all that bad at all. Now I can let Megan know that it's not that bad and everything's going to be fine. And the way that she showed that support to Megan was not a way Megan wanted to receive support. Like, she didn't leave space for Megan to overcome the, like, anxiety and fears that she had about getting on the wooden planks. You know what I'm saying? And I think at some point Vanessa really does realize that and notice that because, you know, she full on, like, starts weeping at one point.
I just want to have fun too.
You did awesome.
I did. I can't believe
You did
I
awesome.
I was just trying to encourage her. I'm not good at my work.
That's crucial conversations, right? You care.
I want her to push.
And it does sound like Vanessa's heart was in the right place, and I think she really just doesn't always know the best way to communicate. It's kind of like how I used to talk about Tammy Slayton as well. Like, I feel like they're similar in the way that, like, they probably never really learned, like, good, healthy communication styles and boundaries and things like that. And so she felt like she was communicating support and positivity, but that's obviously not what it was. And so once she kind of like put that together and realized that she might have like hurt Megan through that, I think she felt really bad about it. And in fact, she even like has a nice confessional where she talks about like giving them space to go inside first while she took some time to like gather herself, recollect herself so that she could go in and not add more fuel to the fire. And they do go back in for dinner, and while Vanessa is reflecting, Tina and Megan do have a conversation. And I do think part of where Megan could like work on their relationship is understanding how she could respond to Vanessa in the future. And Tina really points that out to her. Like, you're never going to be able to control the way Vanessa acts, behaves, responds, but you can make a choice in how you act and respond to her. And I think that Tina's basically saying, like, you also escalated things, and that's not to say it was your fault, but, like, you could stop the escalation by not contributing to it. So once all the girls do show up for dinner, they just sit there in silence, and like, well, I don't know what you could say about that, because Tina and Ashley like really were not a part of the drama, so they didn't really have anything to say. They couldn't really chime in about it. And Vanessa ends up breaking the silence in a very Vanessa way.
Did you get your splinter out, Megan?
I had about 6, but yes.
I did love you. But you already know I'm...
And quite honestly, I think Vanessa is relatively good at apologizing and taking accountability for her actions.
But I think what pissed me off the most was I was hurting, and you poked fun at me for having a splinter.
I'm sorry.
You did.
I did.
And it triggered
I did.
me. And I was like, are you kidding me?
I love you, and no matter what, I'm sorry that I push you in that way. I'm very sorry.
I just think it would be better if she didn't escalate so quickly, and also would be better if this wasn't like a routine thing that it seems like they go through, right? Like even in season 1, we've seen Vanessa respond this way, like escalating and blowing up immediately and then feeling bad about it later. And I think if she could overcome that and take some breaths, she could process some of these things, because she's clearly able to eventually get there like she did in this episode. But if she could do all of that processing a little bit quicker, or realize that she needed to take time to process and walk away before she blew up. You know what I'm saying? But it does sound like there's a history of like Vanessa getting loud, blowing up, and then apologizing once she realizes what happened and she feels bad. So in that kind of a way, she's clearly not that great at apologizing, because I think an important part of apologizing, just for me personally, is not just saying you're sorry, but then changing the behavior. And it seems like maybe Vanessa struggles a little bit with the change of behavior part of that equation. But the good news is that they do decide that they're going to have a safe word for future arguments or situations like that.
I think our safe word should be dildo. You can say, look, this is the end of the dildo.
So we get to day 3, and they end up showing a montage of probably all the things that they've done over the 3 days they're there, but then they just smash it all together in this montage to make it all look like it happened on day 3. And apparently there's a wedding venue on the Fit Farm, because nothing says like love and marriage like getting married at a place where they make people exercise and worry about their weight. But they take Megan to this wedding venue portion of the Fit Farm because they basically want to have like an intervention about how she's feeling about getting married to John. And they all seem to bring up the same general concern, which is just that like she doesn't seem excited about this. And Megan's like, why are you asking me about this? We're here to focus on our health. I'm here to focus on losing weight. Like, what's that matter? And they're like, your mental health is a part of that.
We came here for fitness and to work on our health, and we're sitting here talking about my wedding.
A part of health is the whole
It's
body,
all of it.
mind, body, and soul, baby.
You know that because you say it all the time.
And honestly, one thing that I'm most fascinated about this little intervention situation is that I was really expecting the driving force in all of this conversation to be from Vanessa, because all the things, for the most part, outside of maybe like one comment from Tina, has been from Vanessa. Like, Vanessa's been the one that's been saying, like, I don't think Megan's ready to get married. I don't think Megan wants to get married, yada, yada, yada. It does make a little sense, like, she is living with Tina, so it makes sense that Tina would know best about the relationship that she has with John and the general level of excitement that she has about the wedding or marriage. But I was just expecting it to be Vanessa. I will say that Megan does struggle to like confidently say that she is excited to get married to John.
I don't want you to get upset, Megan, but you've been with this man for 12 years. He loves you.
And I love him, okay? It's not that I don't want to marry him. I do, I think. I do.
Be for real. I'm there. I see it. I know what the goes on.
And that's the part where Tina's like, bestie, I know you, and I know that's not the truth. Like, I live with you. You're in my basement. I see this. It's not, I don't see what you're seeing. And Megan does mention that, like, she wants to get to know him better, maybe partake in therapy. And Ashley's response is just, like, so honest, so very real.
You're waiting for him to be what you want him to be, and he's never going to be. That's why it's taken this long. And it's going to be 12 more years, and we're going to be having this conversation.
And I do think that Megan should probably evaluate that a little bit. Like, how much of this is he going to be able to change? They talk about how Megan and John have been together for like 12 years. And I honestly feel like if you're 12 years into a relationship, there are some things that probably are just not going to change. I mean, that's just the long and short of it. And then the second big fight, well, I guess the third, if you count Ashley at the beginning of the episode. But the next big 1,000-pound bestie fight in this episode happens by way of Ashley asking how long Megan thinks it will take for John to change.
How long is it gonna take?
12 years.
Shut the up. Mind your own business.
And Vanessa's little snappy response there gets Megan feeling overwhelmed. And I think the feeling of being overwhelmed that Megan is having is interesting because this is very similar to Journalgate at the beginning of the season, where they all wanted her to weigh in and they were just pushing her to do it all at once. And she doesn't seem like the kind of person that responds well to being like ganged up on. But on the same accord, at the beginning of this episode, all three of Megan, Vanessa, and Tina all ganged up on Ashley and like tried to force her into going to the workout too. So it's like, seems to be something that they accept will happen as a group, but then when one of them gets cornered by the other three, they get really frustrated very quickly. And it further escalates when Tina insists that Megan is not happy. And then Megan is just like, that's it, that's enough.
What's important is that you're not happy. And we can all see that.
I am happy, though.
You're not.
Off. I'm done. I am done. You pushed my limits, and I'm done with this conversation.
Which is interesting because, like, if Megan is telling you she's happy, then I don't know how helpful it is to be like, no, you're not. You don't know what you're feeling. Like, I don't know how helpful that is. But it did make Megan lose her shit and lose her cool. And I will say, Megan does speak some truth when she says that they all need to figure out their own shit before they start meddling in theirs. That's what I always say in this show and the 1,000-Pound Sisters, is that while it's nice to have a support group, like, oftentimes you also need to worry about your own shit, and sometimes I feel like they don't do enough worrying about their own shit. So the other three walk over to where Megan ran off to because they're like, we gotta squash this. And their way of resolving a problem that they created by overwhelming her and all ganging up on her is to smother her.
Hey, what about me?
No.
What
No.
You don't like me?
No.
Excuse me.
What? Don't.
Oh, that was my
you.
neck.
Oh, your neck.
Oh, that was sweaty. Oh, that was sweaty.
Which honestly, Megan didn't seem irritated, but me as a person who doesn't like to touch anybody, if I don't have to, like if a group of friends came up to me while I was fuming and they all just started hugging me and touching me, that would be a, for me, that would be a no. A hard no. A hard no. What do you know about a hard no? But Megan still insists that she loves Sean and that she just thinks that they need to work on some stuff. And, you know, even if it takes 30 years, she's gonna work through it. And Tina has something to say about that.
You promised me that you just mean you're gonna live in my basement for 30 years. Excuse me, she's gonna kill me.
Oh, y'all, let's go.
So the episode ends and they do a little workshop with Chris, the woman who owns the Fit Farm, and she has them all discuss kind of like what their goals are outside of like a number on the scale, outside of like a specific weight-related thing where Ashley talks about just like in general wanting to be able to feel healthy and potentially have a baby. Megan wants to be able to have anything and everything, and what she means by that is she wants to be able to drive again. Vanessa wants to get her child healthy, which is not really about her, so I don't know why she brought that up in this situation. And she tells Chris that she just wants to be able to feel like a normal person. She wants to be like Chris, wake up and feel normal every day. And Chris's response to this was interesting.
You are so normal. I saw you.
That's my goal.
Oh, so because she did some burpees, she's normal? I mean, I would actually agree that, like, I don't think any of them are not normal. I think that they are all normal people, whatever that means, you know? I just thought it was funny that Chris was like, bestie, I saw you do burpees. I saw you do a burpee. And then Tina says that she wants freedom, freedom from like the pressure to be perfect all the time for her family. And Chris like agrees and says like, hey, you need to be able to be you. You need to be selfish and take care of yourself. And Tina talks about this being the first time she's really felt seen in that kind of a situation. She's tired of feeling fear in her life and she's about to explode. So she goes to the pool and takes her clothes off.
Tina.
And that's the cliffhanger, y'all. That's how it ends, which is so interesting because that particular scene was in the previews from last week for this week's episode. So I guess they just want to keep teasing us with Tina getting down to her underwear and maybe jumping in the pool. I have some other general questions about this episode, like what happened. I thought that they were doing a pre-assessment, so I figured at some point we'd get a post-assessment of like, at the very end of their stay there, them like doing the tests all over again that they did on the first day to see how much they improved. But I'm not really sure that's going to happen because they kind of made it seem like this was the end of their time at the Fit Farm. And then I'm also curious what's going to go on with those cameras that Vanessa put up in her house that I strongly disagree with, because the whole time they've been at the Fit Farm, they haven't actually mentioned them at all. So I guess it's probably going to be something she confronts Jacob with after they get back at some point, and that's all we'll hear about it. And next week's episode has bull riding and a drag queen, so I'm excited. I'm thrilled. Can't wait. Can't wait. But anyways, this really was the best episode of the season so far, in my humble opinion. Let me know what you think down below. That's all I have time for today. So if you're brand new to my channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media, including Twitch, including Cameo, including my merch, whatever it might be. Check it out, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!